From the moment a blind woman in a small Balkan village began to speak of futures yet to come, her words echoed across the decades. Wars, disasters, revelations, Baba Vanga's prophecies have haunted and fascinated generations. She warned of turmoil in the mid-2020s, of upheavals that would shake nations, and of knowledge arriving from beyond the earth itself. Today, as our world trembles under the weight of economic instability, natural disasters, and global tensions, the skies above bring their own mysteries. Interstellar visitors, first Oumuamua, then Borisov, and now the anticipation of 3I/Atlas, slip into our solar system from the distant stars. Silent, ancient, and mysterious, these cosmic wanderers raise questions that science struggles to answer. Are they random fragments of alien worlds, or messengers carrying deeper meaning? Prophecy and astronomy, faith and science, the voice of a seer and the data of telescopes, all converge in this moment. What do Baba Vanga's predictions mean for us now? And what secrets might the stars themselves be delivering through these interstellar messengers? This is not only the story of prophecy, nor only the story of science. It is the story of humanity standing at the threshold of destiny, searching for meaning in the shadow of both earthly crises and cosmic revelations. In the early years of the 20th century, in a village resting in the shadow of the Balkan mountains, a child was born whose life would eventually become legend. Her name at birth was Vangelia Pandiva Dimitrova, but history would remember her simply as Baba Vanga, a name that in the Bulgarian tongue carried both familiarity and reverence, for Baba meant grandmother, and in her presence, many felt as if they were standing before something older than time itself. Born in 1911 in Strumica, a place then under Ottoman rule, her childhood was shaped not by privilege but by hardship, poverty, and uncertainty. The land was contested, the borders shifting, the people caught in the struggles of empire and nationhood. It was a time when families lived at the mercy of weather, politics, and fate. From the beginning, Vangelia's life was marked by trials that seemed to carve out a path towards something extraordinary. Her father was often absent, drawn into the turmoil of war and military service. Her mother died while she was still young, leaving the child vulnerable and dependent upon neighbors and distant relatives. She grew up in a world that expected little from her beyond survival. And then came the storm, a literal storm, one of those sudden Balkan tempests that sweep across the fields without warning. The wind lifted sand and debris into her eyes, blinding her permanently. For most, such a tragedy would have ended any chance at significance. Yet for Vangelia, it marked the beginning of the legend. Blindness took away the ordinary world, but it seemed to grant her another kind of vision, or at least that is how people came to believe. As she grew older, those around her noticed strange abilities. She seemed to know things she could not possibly know. She spoke of events before they happened, of outcomes hidden in the future, of personal matters no outsider could guess. At first, it was local curiosity. Villagers asked her questions. Families came to her for guidance. But as the years passed, her reputation grew beyond her village, beyond the Balkans, and eventually across the globe. Baba Vanga became known as a seer, a prophet, a woman who could peer into the mist of the future. Leaders and ordinary people alike sought her counsel. Her words were not always clear, she often spoke in riddles, metaphors, and images. Yet again and again, people claimed her predictions came true. She warned of wars, natural disasters, political upheavals, and tragedies that would strike nations. Among the most cited was her prediction of the Kursk submarine disaster, where she foretold that the Russian vessel would be consumed by water, a prophecy later linked to the sinking of the Kursk in 2000. She spoke of the September 11 attacks in the United States, describing two steel birds falling upon the Americans, words that seemed chillingly aligned with the collapse of the Twin Towers. She was said to have predicted the Chernobyl disaster, the breakup of the Soviet Union, and even the election of particular world leaders. Whether all of these predictions were faithfully recorded or later attributed to her is a matter of debate. Skeptics point out that many of her statements were vague, open to interpretation, or passed down orally rather than written in her own hand. Yet her reputation as a prophetess endures because enough of her words seem to find echoes in history. It is not only her past predictions that fascinate but also the ones said to concern our future. Among the most discussed are her prophecies concerning the years now upon us. For 2025, she is said to have predicted a great crisis in Europe, an economic collapse that would strain societies and governments. She spoke of conflicts that would ignite and of natural disasters that would challenge human endurance. Some believe she warned of a major war, perhaps even global in scale, that would alter the trajectory of civilization. Others highlight her references to astronomical events, cosmic encounters, and revelations from beyond our world. These words resonate in an age where the cosmos itself has begun to surprise us in ways our ancestors could scarcely imagine. In recent years, astronomers have detected objects that do not belong to our solar system, visitors from other stars, traveling across the vast gulf of interstellar space. In 2017, the first such object was detected and named ʻOumuamua, a strange, elongated body that slipped through the solar system and left more questions than answers. Then, in 2019, came Borisov, a true interstellar comet blazing through the night sky. And now, astronomers anticipate the arrival of yet another, often referred to as 3I/Atlas, continuing the sequence of discoveries that remind us that our solar system is not isolated but part of a greater cosmic flow. Here, the lives of prophets and the discoveries of scientists meet in a strange harmony. For centuries, seers have looked to the heavens, reading omens in the stars, predicting fates in the movement of celestial bodies. Baba Vanga herself spoke of humanity encountering revelations from beyond, of knowledge and events tied not only to Earth but to the greater cosmos. When interstellar visitors now appear in our skies, some cannot help but connect them to her words, wondering if the prophecies she spoke of are not metaphorical but literal, pointing to encounters that will change our understanding of who we are and where we belong in the universe. Her legacy endures not because every prediction came true but because her life and words symbolize the human yearning to see beyond the veil of time. We live in uncertainty, surrounded by threats both human and natural, and the thought that someone might glimpse the future offers both comfort and fear. To those who believe, Baba Vanga's visions offer warning and preparation. To those who doubt, they remain a fascinating cultural phenomenon, a reminder of how desperately people seek meaning in the unknown. Yet whether one believes or not, there is no denying that her name continues to rise in moments of crisis, that her words are recalled when the world trembles. And today, as astronomers speak of interstellar wanderers and as geopolitical tensions sharpen, her prophecies feel more relevant than ever. For prophecy and science, though they emerge from different traditions, are both attempts to grasp the unseen future. One is mystical, the other empirical, but both remind us that humanity is not in full control of its destiny, that forces greater than ourselves will shape what comes. And so, the story continues, from the blind seer of the Balkans to the telescopes that scan the heavens. In the flow of time, prophecy and astronomy converge, each raising the same question: what awaits us in the years ahead, and how will humanity respond when the unknown finally reveals itself? The 21st century has unfolded in ways both astonishing and unsettling. While humanity has made strides in technology, medicine, and communication, the world has also witnessed crises of environment, politics, and stability. In this atmosphere of uncertainty, it is not surprising that the words of prophets echo more loudly than ever. But where ancient prophecy once stood alone, modern science has begun to provide its own set of revelations, many of them as mysterious as any riddle uttered by a seer. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the recent discoveries of objects from beyond our solar system, celestial wanderers that seem to appear suddenly, glide through our neighborhood of planets and stars, and vanish again into the infinite. In 2017, astronomers at the Haleakala Observatory in Hawaii detected an object unlike any they had seen before. At first, it was thought to be a comet or asteroid, but further study revealed something more extraordinary. It was traveling far too quickly, on a trajectory that could not have originated within our own solar system. This was a visitor from interstellar space, the first of its kind ever observed. They named it 1I/2017 U1, though it quickly became better known by its Hawaiian name, ʻOumuamua, meaning a scout or messenger from afar arriving first. Oumuamua defied easy classification. It did not behave like ordinary comets, for it showed no clear tail of gas or dust. Its shape was bizarre, elongated like a cigar or perhaps flattened like a pancake, tumbling as it traveled. It reflected sunlight in unusual ways, and its trajectory shifted slightly as though propelled by something unseen. Some astronomers suggested that it was pushed by faint jets of gas, while others entertained more exotic possibilities, including the controversial idea that it might even be artificial, a relic or probe from another civilization. Whatever the explanation, it had come from beyond our sun's grasp and would leave it again, never to return. The discovery was profound. For the first time, humanity had confirmed that our solar system is not a closed arena but part of a larger cosmic highway. Rocks, comets, and possibly other fragments from distant stars wander between systems, carrying with them the history of places we may never see. Oumuamua was the first scout, the first undeniable evidence that the universe is not only full of stars but also of travelers between them. Its arrival sparked debate, wonder, and even unease. Then, only 2 years later, another interstellar visitor appeared. In August of 2019, an amateur astronomer named Gennady Borisov discovered a new comet, one with a highly unusual path. It was soon confirmed as 2I/Borisov, the second known interstellar object, and unlike Oumuamua, this one looked more familiar. It had a visible coma and a tail of gas, behaving like the comets we know, yet its speed and trajectory revealed it came from the deep void between the stars. Borisov was less mysterious than Oumuamua but no less significant. It showed that interstellar visitors were not unique but part of a broader phenomenon. If two such objects could be detected within just a few years, it suggested that they may pass through our solar system more frequently than once thought, and that we had simply lacked the technology to spot them until recently. The night sky, once seen as silent and constant, was revealed to be dynamic, full of motion and exchange across unimaginable distances. Now, astronomers await the discovery of the next, which would be designated 3I, and many anticipate that it could be linked to a particular set of observations around an object tentatively named Atlas. This connection has led to speculation that the third interstellar object, 3I/Atlas, may soon be recognized, continuing the sequence of interstellar revelations. The name itself carries a weight of myth and symbol. Atlas, in Greek mythology, was the Titan who held up the heavens, a figure connecting Earth to the vast cosmos. To have an interstellar visitor associated with that name feels fitting, as if the universe itself is handing humanity a reminder of its place beneath the stars. The significance of these discoveries cannot be overstated. For centuries, prophets and visionaries have linked human destiny to celestial signs, comets, eclipses, stars appearing in the night sky. In earlier ages, such events were seen as omens, warnings, or heralds of change. Baba Vanga herself spoke often of cosmic revelations, of knowledge arriving from beyond our world that would transform human understanding. Now, in our age of telescopes and space probes, such revelations have taken on a new form. When an interstellar object like Oumuamua or Borisov sweeps through the solar system, it becomes a literal messenger from afar, carrying not just dust and ice but also questions about our place in the universe. Skeptics see only rocks and ice. Believers in prophecy see symbols and meaning. But perhaps both perspectives, though different, are driven by the same impulse, the desire to make sense of the unknown. For science, the unknown is a puzzle to be measured and explained. For prophecy, the unknown is a vision to be interpreted and heeded. Yet both are responses to the same reality: humanity is not alone in the cosmos, not isolated from forces greater than itself, and the future remains an open horizon shaped by encounters beyond our control. The possibility of 3I/Atlas arriving in our time has therefore captured imaginations in ways beyond the purely scientific. To some, it is simply another data point in the study of cosmic phenomena. To others, it feels like the fulfillment of prophetic warnings, a celestial event that coincides with turbulent years on Earth. The idea that Baba Vanga foresaw great upheaval in the mid-2020s, and that at the same time humanity may witness a new interstellar visitor, is a convergence that fuels speculation. Did she truly foresee not only political and environmental crises but also the arrival of messengers from the stars? Or is it that human beings, seeking patterns, connect these events in hindsight, weaving a tapestry of meaning where there may be none? Regardless of interpretation, the symbolism is powerful. Interstellar visitors remind us that we are part of a much larger story, one that stretches across galaxies and eons. Prophecy reminds us that our choices and fates are entwined with forces beyond our comprehension. Together, they place humanity in a position of humility and wonder. Consider what an interstellar object represents. It has traveled for millions, perhaps billions of years, cast adrift from its home star, wandering the void until chance brought it near our sun. Its surface holds clues to its origin, to the chemistry of other planetary systems, to the processes that shaped distant worlds. In its icy core may be trapped molecules formed under alien skies, carrying within them stories older than humanity itself. To intercept or study such an object is to peer into another chapter of the universe's history, a chapter we could never access otherwise. It is as though the cosmos itself delivers us a sample of its vast diversity, a token of the broader reality of which we are a part. And yet, beyond the science, the timing cannot help but provoke reflection. As the world faces upheavals, economic instability, environmental crises, geopolitical tensions, the sudden arrival of an interstellar messenger feels charged with significance. Humanity has always read the skies as mirrors of its own fate. When comets blazed overhead in ancient times, kings trembled and peoples prepared for change. When stars flared unexpectedly, they were taken as signs of birth, death, or destiny. Even now, in an age of rational science, the old instinct remains. We cannot help but feel that the heavens speak, even if we no longer agree on what they say. Baba Vanga's prophecies about cosmic revelations may thus be read anew in light of these discoveries. Did she envision the literal arrival of objects from beyond our solar system? Did she foresee the scientific breakthroughs that would reveal humanity's connection to the wider universe? Or were her words symbolic, pointing to a time when humanity would finally recognize itself as part of a much larger cosmic story? Whatever the answer, the convergence of prophecy and science creates a resonance too powerful to ignore. In this way, the story of 3I/Atlas is not only about astronomy but also about meaning. The astronomers will measure its orbit, analyze its composition, and publish their findings in scientific journals. But beyond the numbers, the public imagination will turn it into a sign, a message, a symbol of what it means to be alive in this era. Baba Vanga's voice will echo in the background, reminding us that she warned of upheavals, of revelations, of encounters that would reshape humanity's path. Whether literal or metaphorical, the connection is undeniable. And so, the question becomes not merely what 3I/Atlas is, but what it represents. Is it a random traveler, a cosmic stone wandering without purpose? Or is it, in some sense, a mirror of our own condition? Adrift in a vast universe, carrying fragments of our origins, uncertain of our destination, yet compelled ever forward by forces we do not fully understand. In contemplating the arrival of interstellar messengers, we may be contemplating ourselves. The narrative, then, continues to unfold. From a blind seer in the Balkans who spoke of futures beyond her sight, to astronomers scanning the heavens for wanderers from the stars, humanity finds itself once again caught between mystery and revelation. Baba Vanga's prophecies and the discovery of interstellar objects are threads in the same fabric, each pointing us toward the same truth: the future is unknown, the cosmos is vast, and our place within it is both fragile and extraordinary. The story of prophecy and the story of science now converge, and in their meeting, humanity is compelled to confront not only its past but its future. Baba Vanga, though blind from childhood, spoke of centuries yet to come. She is said to have left behind predictions that stretch beyond our own lifetimes, offering glimpses of a timeline in which humanity survives disaster, encounters revelations, and moves towards something far greater than its current struggles. These prophecies, though debated and often vague, form a kind of mythic roadmap. Some are dire, filled with warnings of destruction. Others are hopeful, promising advances in knowledge and the ultimate transcendence of human limitations. Among her later predictions are references to contact with other intelligences, to knowledge arriving from beyond the earth, and to events that would shake the foundations of human belief. She foresaw technological revolutions that would alter daily life, medical breakthroughs that would extend human longevity, and environmental catastrophes that would test our ability to adapt. She warned of wars, including the possibility of devastating global conflict, but she also hinted at an eventual peace, a unification of humanity after great trials. Her timeline stretches centuries into the future, suggesting that humanity, despite turmoil, endures. For those who read her words today, it is impossible not to see them through the lens of current events. The world stands at the threshold of crises she described: climate change, political instability, economic uncertainty, the threat of conflict, and the sudden arrival of forces beyond human control. When she spoke of cosmic revelations, some interpret it as metaphor, a spiritual awakening or a profound shift in human consciousness. Others take her more literally, imagining that her visions pointed to the discovery of extraterrestrial life, to signals from distant civilizations, or to the arrival of interstellar messengers. It is in this context that the anticipation of 3I/Atlas becomes more than a scientific matter. An interstellar object traveling through our solar system at this very moment, or on the verge of discovery, feels like a fulfillment of her warnings about knowledge from beyond. To those inclined toward prophecy, the timing is uncanny. Baba Vanga's predictions for the mid-2020s included upheaval and revelation. The sudden appearance of an object from another star system could easily be seen as part of that revelation, a cosmic event coinciding with earthly struggle. And yet, even without prophecy, the symbolism is powerful. Imagine the journey of such an object, cast loose from its home star perhaps millions of years ago, drifting in silence through the void, passing countless suns and planets, until by chance it entered our solar system. To us, it is a scientific curiosity, a chance to study the chemistry of distant star systems. But in the grander scheme, it is also a reminder of the vastness of the universe, of the countless stories unfolding beyond our reach. It reminds us that Earth is not the center of all things, that our struggles are set against a backdrop of cosmic scale. This humbling perspective is precisely what prophets throughout history have tried to evoke. Their words, whether about wars, floods, or revelations, are reminders of human fragility in the face of forces larger than ourselves. For Baba Vanga, those forces included not only politics and nature but the cosmos itself. Her prophecies echo the ancient belief that the heavens and earth are intertwined, that what happens above mirrors what happens below. When comets blaze across the sky or when interstellar objects enter our system, humanity cannot help but search for meaning, just as our ancestors once did. Science tells us that Oumuamua and Borisov were natural objects, wandering fragments of other worlds. It predicts that 3I/Atlas, when officially catalogued, will be another such traveler, perhaps a comet, perhaps something stranger. But even as science explains the mechanics, prophecy insists that meaning remains. The timing of these events, arriving as humanity faces crises, cannot help but stir the imagination. Are these visitors mere coincidence, or do they form part of a larger pattern, one that speaks to the very destiny of our species? In many ways, the answer lies not in the objects themselves but in us. Human beings are pattern-seeking creatures. We look to the stars and find constellations. We hear the wind and imagine voices. We observe random events and weave them into stories. This is not weakness but strength, for it is through stories that we understand ourselves. Baba Vanga's prophecies are part of this storytelling impulse, and so too are the scientific narratives we craft about interstellar wanderers. Both seek to place humanity in context, to answer the question of where we are going. If her prophecies are to be believed, the coming years will bring great trials but also transformation. Some say she foresaw natural disasters of increasing magnitude, earthquakes, floods, and fires that would reshape the earth. She spoke of regions becoming uninhabitable, of migrations of peoples, of societies strained to the breaking point. Yet she also spoke of breakthroughs, cures for diseases long thought incurable, technologies that would extend life and connect people across the globe, discoveries that would unlock new sources of energy. She even hinted at humanity spreading beyond Earth, settling new worlds, and joining a greater cosmic community. Here, prophecy and science once again converge. For even as we speak of climate disasters and political instability, we also witness rapid advances in technology. Artificial intelligence, biotechnology, renewable energy, and space exploration are all progressing at unprecedented speed. Humanity stands on the edge of both catastrophe and possibility. The future could bring collapse, or it could bring a leap forward into an entirely new era. Baba Vanga's words capture this duality, warning of danger while also pointing to transformation. The anticipated arrival of 3I/Atlas, then, becomes symbolic of this moment in history. Just as humanity faces its greatest challenges, a messenger from the stars appears, reminding us of the broader universe we inhabit. Whether one sees it as coincidence or as fulfillment of prophecy, the effect is the same. It forces us to look beyond our immediate struggles and consider our place in the cosmos. It humbles us, but it also inspires us. If fragments of other star systems can reach us, then perhaps one day we can reach them. If the universe sends us messengers, perhaps it also invites us to become messengers ourselves. Baba Vanga's predictions stretch far beyond the present century, suggesting that humanity will endure long enough to explore the stars, to make discoveries that change the course of history. Whether these predictions are true or not, they resonate with our deepest hopes. For all our fear of catastrophe, we also dream of survival, of transcendence, of reaching beyond the cradle of Earth. The interstellar objects we now observe serve as tangible proof that the stars are not unreachable. They come to us, silently, mysteriously, carrying the promise that the universe is open to travelers. The narrative of prophecy and the narrative of science ultimately lead to the same conclusion: humanity is at a crossroads. The decisions we make now, about how we treat the planet, how we manage conflict, how we use our technology, will determine whether we collapse or ascend. Baba Vanga's warnings remind us of the cost of arrogance and neglect. The arrival of interstellar messengers reminds us of the vast possibilities that lie ahead if we endure. Together, they challenge us to see ourselves not as masters of the earth but as participants in a much larger cosmic drama. And so, as the mid-2020s unfold, the world watches the skies and listens to the echoes of prophecy. Economists warn of instability, scientists monitor the climate, astronomers track interstellar wanderers, and millions recall the words of a blind woman from the Balkans who spoke of futures yet to come. Whether one believes in her or not, her presence in our imagination is undeniable. She embodies the human longing to know what lies ahead, and she gives voice to our fears and our hopes. The coming of 3I/Atlas, whether imminent or still years away, will be another chapter in this story. It will be studied, measured, and catalogued by astronomers. But for the broader public, it will be more than numbers. It will be a symbol, a sign that the universe still has mysteries to reveal. And in that moment, many will remember Baba Vanga's words, connecting science to prophecy, reason to faith, and data to meaning. In the end, perhaps it does not matter whether her prophecies were literal or symbolic, precise or vague. What matters is the effect they have, to remind humanity that the future is not guaranteed, that we must face it with humility, courage, and imagination. The interstellar messengers, too, remind us of this truth. They come unbidden, unexpected, indifferent to our struggles, yet they change us simply by appearing. They show us that the universe is alive with motion, that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. This is the message at the heart of both prophecy and science, that humanity is not alone, that we are not the center, that our destiny is shaped by forces beyond us, but also that we have the power to respond. We can choose despair, or we can choose wonder. We can collapse under the weight of crises, or we can rise to meet them, inspired by the knowledge that we are participants in a cosmic story still unfolding. The blind seer and the interstellar messengers, separated by time and tradition, now stand together in our imagination. Baba Vanga, speaking of futures beyond sight. Oumuamua, Borisov, and Atlas, wandering silently from distant stars. One offers words, the other presence. Together, they ask the same question: how will humanity face the future? The answer, as always, lies not in the stars or in the prophets, but in us. And so, from the voice of a blind mystic in a Balkan village to the silent arrival of interstellar travelers, we find ourselves standing at the threshold of mystery. Baba Vanga's words, whether seen as prophecy or poetry, remind us that humanity is never far from crisis, nor from the possibility of transformation. The stars themselves have sent us wanderers, Oumuamua, Borisov, and now the anticipated 3I/Atlas, each a fragment of distant worlds, carrying secrets we may never fully unlock, but whose presence stirs something deep within us. Perhaps prophecy and astronomy are not so different. Both ask us to look beyond the moment, to see the currents shaping our destiny, to admit that forces greater than ourselves guide the path ahead. Whether Baba Vanga foresaw the age we now live in, or whether her visions simply mirror our fears and hopes, the truth remains: the future is uncertain, but it is also open. And in that openness lies our greatest power, not just to endure, but to choose how we step into the unknown. Like, comment, and subscribe the channel, if you love these long stories. It supports the channel.